I saw Iron Lung, and I have to say, it is a really good movie. I was thoroughly impressed and thoroughly enjoyed it. Honestly, I'm quite surprised how much I liked it, as I'm typically not a big horror fan, and I also just am not a big Markiplier fan either, but I went to see it with some friends, and I gotta say, it completely blew my expectations out of the water. It was scary, but not in a way that was off-putting or that annoyed me, but in a way that was tense and that kept me engaged and hooked, and that I actually enjoyed. I will admit, as a certified scaredy cat, it's definitely not that scary of a horror movie, especially compared to some more popular ones, but it is a great psychological thriller if that's what you're into. Think like Skinamark or The Backrooms, and that's the type of horror that I like, because that's the type of horror that makes me thrilled, but not downright terrified. And I thought it was extremely entertaining and extremely engaging. It's very suspenseful. It has great use of claustrophobia and trypophobia and whatever the fear of the ocean is. Also, the movie is very visually impressive, shot-wise, especially when you consider that it only had a $3 million budget. The blood is fairly convincing, and the overall scene in Submarine is pretty well designed and quite terrifying in a claustrophobic type of way. It also is, I'll admit, a little bit confusing, and for some people that might make it off-putting, because you really don't get a clear explanation for what the story is, and you probably won't understand it unless you have prior knowledge about the game's lore. But I personally thought that it kind of added to the mystery that they kept the story intentionally vague, because it kept you thinking and theorizing throughout the movie about what exactly was going on and what was happening. Overall, a really good indie movie, extremely good horror movie, especially for a first timer. I would say the only real major flaws is that it is somewhat slowly paced and does drag on. You probably could have cut a decent amount of especially the beginning parts. It does help set the atmospheric tone of the film, but it is definitely boring, especially in the first half compared to the second half, where it gets much more intense. If you are a fan of Markiplier or indie horror movies or indie projects in general or psychological thrillers, then I would definitely recommend seeing this movie. It's really good. You'll thoroughly enjoy it, and it's definitely worth supporting if you're a fan of indie films and indie art in general. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Tell me what you thought about the movie down below if you saw it, and as always, thanks for watching.